And now, the Sports Cypher Sports Update.
It's 10:04, and good evening. I'm Gabe Salgado with your scoreboard update. And as we've been talking about throughout the show, the Bears lose to Green Bay 38-17 in Soldier Field today. They blew a 17-14 lead in the second quarter and were outscored 24-0 the rest of the way. And Jay Cutler's 2 second-half interceptions certainly didn't help matters. The Bears, Packers, and Vikings are now all tied in the NFC North at 2-2 as Minnesota surprises Atlanta with a 41-28 upset today. Detroit hangs on to first place at 3-1 with their 24-17 win over the Jets. You probably ignored it, but today was the last day for baseball in Chicago. The White Sox lose their finale against Kansas City 6-4 as the retiring Paul Konerko went 0-3 with 2 strikeouts. The Cubs, on the other hand, grab a road victory in Milwaukee as they beat the Brewers 5-2 and eliminate them from playoff contention, so the Cubs playing spoiler there. Coming up at 10:20, we'll dive into a little more baseball talk, especially talking about Paul Konerko's retirement. As for yesterday's college football action, Northwestern upset Penn State 29-6. Illinois got ran over by Nebraska 45-14, while Northern Illinois had a bye week, and Notre Dame remains unbeaten by taking down Syracuse 31-15. And at 10:40, sometimes Notre Dame beat writer Lamont Pope will join us to talk about the latest on the school's academic scandal that's almost done with the investigation, and that's unfolding. I'm Gabe Salgado, and that is your scoreboard update.
The Sports Cypher.
Welcome back to the Sports Cypher. Gabe Salgado, Maya Kai here with you. And it's almost time to call it a night, but before we do, we're going to bring on Lamont Pope. He is the Notre Dame beat writer for the Chicago Sun-Times and the Gary Post-Tribune. And Lamont, glad you made it back. I know you had a rough time with the air travel the last couple days.
Well, didn't everybody? I mean, that's, all the beat writers that were trying to get on out there. We were all stranded on Friday, and then able to make it out there Saturday. I had to kind of go to New York instead of New Jersey for my landing spot, and then take a train on in. But we were able to get on in time and watch Notre Dame improve to 4-0.
Now, before we get to that, now you had reported earlier this week that the university had wrapped up its investigation, and they're going to start making decisions as to punishments and that from there. What can you tell us on that? What's the latest on that front?
Well, at the end of this coming week, Brian Kelly said that there should be the investigation hearing the players going to go on there. That portion of it should wrap up if everything goes according to plan by the end of next week. DeVaris Daniels, one of the 5 guys being held out of practices and games, talked to ESPN.com, and he essentially said that his hearing is scheduled for Friday. And so that's most of the guys are going to have their hearings on Wednesday, Thursday, or Friday. And then the waiting period begins from that, just to find out what the final conclusion is.
No, I did read that ESPN.com interview that Daniels did, and obviously he voices frustration with the process and, just the whole thing in general. Have you spoken to him since he did that interview, and if so, has he told you anything that you could share with us?
Oh, no. That was his first time that he was able to talk to, or that he spoke with any reporter since the investigation started, and so and that's the only time that he's spoken with anyone from the press, and so it was interesting just to kind of get his take and to see where he's at mentally as well, and like you said, he did voice some frustration with just how the whole process sort of played on out.
Now, once the decisions are all rendered and everything else, do you see anybody getting, season-long suspensions or perhaps even getting kicked off the team? Or what do you think, in your opinion, could happen as a result of all of this?
I mean, there's a whole lot that can be in play. I mean, obviously, there's NCAA implications. There's, the possibility of past victories being vacated.